So, Frank, getting back to the square root of one, Tyson was meant to be fighting AJ. It looked like it was going to be in Cardiff on December the 3rd. Who does he now fight? It's not AJ, right? So who is it?
Well, we look like, as I said last time, it looks like it would be Derek Chisora. He's the highest ranking fighter we can get. Bearing in mind, we originally wanted Tyson to fight on the 12th of November. That was after Usyk said he wouldn't be ready to fight, to do the unification in December. So he wanted to fight on the 12th. We had the negotiations with AJ. They all fell apart, and we pushed the fights back till the 3rd. And he's due to fight Usyk in February. So he's got to get out. He's only had one fight this year, so it looks like it'd be Derek in the other corner.
I mean, with all due respect to Chisora, who's probably listening, because I know he does, he just cannot wait for Simon to say something, then he gets in a car and comes in here. You're going to be able to sell this fight?
Frank, listen, sweetheart, you know I love you and I'm a great admirer of yours.
Here it comes.
But this is like a feast and famine mentality. This is a pup, right? Nobody wants to see Tyson Fury fight Derek Chisora. They'd much rather see him maybe fight Andy Ruiz or Frank Sanchez. And I know Frank Sanchez is out next week, so it might be difficult. But this isn't a great one, Frank.
He's got to fight this year. You know, we've pulled out. We've tried to make 2 significant fights. They've both fallen out. Nothing to do with Tyson, nothing to do with us. So this is where we are now, and he can't have one fight in a year. He fought last April to fight, which will mean he'll be a year out the ring, more or less, by the time this fight comes around with Usyk. He needs to fight, and he will fight. And we said that from day one, and it is what it is. And, you know, Derek, he'll give a good account of himself. But listen, I'll tell you how it is as well, Simon, is I don't think anybody out there can beat Tyson Fury.
Frank, I know there was talk of this fight going on December the 3rd down in Cardiff. Has that changed now? Will the venue change? Will it be up here in London?
I don't know yet. We're having a press conference next Wednesday, and we'll nail down where we are finally with it. But that's when it will be on the 3rd.
You better put a bloody good undercard on.
Of course we don't we always put a good undercard on? Of course we will.
You know Simon's in training now, Frank, don't you? So just saying.
But Frank, I mean, Frank, in all seriousness, it goes without saying, you've had the good grace to come on, but we've got to put it to you. I mean, boxing needs a really good feel-good factor story right now. Off the back of this postponed Benn Eubank Jr. fight. Now, you guys had nothing to do with that, we admit that. How good would it have been for all the attention to turn to AJ coming up against Fury at last on December the 3rd? And for whatever reasons, you promoters screwed the thing up.
No, us promoters didn't.
Well, who did?
Well, I mean, how many times have we got to say this, Jim? You know, stories. You had my son on there last week, and he went through it line by line.
I mean, one party's blaming the other. It's a boxing fan, the man in the street who wants to pay his ticket for money in good faith to come and see AJ against Fury, Frank.
Yeah. Let me tell you, you can't force someone to fight. They either want the fight or they don't. And it's either AJ or people around him did not want the fight. Had they wanted the fight, it would have happened. And George, I think he was on your show last week.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
With all the different texts and the messages and all what happened, and that's what happened. So you know, what we expected to do, you know.
No, in fairness to Frank, I mean, it would seem that Eddie's been quite busy elsewhere. Perhaps that's why he doesn't return phone calls and return text messages, because he seemed to be distracted with something else. I don't know what it was.
Well, whatever it is, you know, I mean, you know, we always know what we want. I mean, when I was younger, I wanted to be out with Julia Roberts.
I mean, at the end of the day, have relations with Matchroom improved since the failed negotiation?
Yeah, we've just made a fight with them. Zach Parker's going to fight John Ryder at the end of the end of November.
Oh, Zach Parker! You and I were talking to Zach Parker, Simon.
I tell you what's a great fight that I'm hearing about, Frank, is Anthony Yard.
Yeah. Well, he's going to have a warm up before, but on the 28th of January in London, he's got that fight, and that's
Petoviev.
That's a proper fight. That is.
Yeah.
Great fight. I mean, we've got some good fights. We've got that coming on. We've got Daniel Dubois. We're announcing his opponent. Hopefully over the weekend, so he'll be out on the 26th of November. We've got a lot of our fighters are out in good fights, so we're going to do, I think we've got 5 shows on from November onwards.
Frank,
Any plans for Joe? Any plans for Joe Joyce?
He won't fight till February. He won't fight.
Where does Zach Parker, John Ryder go? Is that on your show or on a Matchroom show?
It's on our show.
Great.
Okay, all right,
Brilliant.
But we can now assume December the 3rd.
One thing, Jim,
Go on, Frank.
Does show that contracts can be turned around, and it's yeah, I'd want to do it.
Yeah, so it's Fury Chisora on December the 3rd.
I just want to top and tail, and I'll take you back one position, Frank. The way that we had Ben Shalom on earlier on saying that as a result of the debacle with Conor Benn and Chris Eubank and what's going on there, that they've lost commercial endorsements, they've lost potential interest from broadcasters. Put aside what's going to happen to the fighter. What do you expect to see? Do you think it's going to blow over? It's going to be chip paper? Or do you expect there's going to be some far more reaching consequences to the structure of boxing, from how much influence promoters have to how straight line testing is to what boxing border controls can actually control? Do you expect there to be some consequences?
Yeah, I do, and I don't want it to blow over. To be quite honest, I want this to focus everybody's attention on the drug taking issue. It's in all sport, not just boxing. And the only way we're going to do this is and I've had a chat with Robert Smith from the Boxing Board of Control and giving him what my footman's worth. And for me, the only way you're going to do this, you're going to have to recognise VADA. And if somebody is found to be tested positive, you have to immediately get the disciplinary situation sorted out. You suspend the boxer pending the outcome of the disciplinary, and whatever it costs, and that's it.
Okay.
All this stuff hiding, where it's the subterfuge is just ridiculous, and bending rules and regulations to try and just satisfy the moment. Bearing in mind, the fight was a dangerous fight to start with. Being a catch.
Okay, Frank, listen, we want to thank you for your time. 15 minutes became half an hour, but that was very good of you to stay with us. So, Chisora, whether people want it or not, like it or not, it's happening. Chisora will fight Tyson Fury. Maybe up here in London, Spencer, as you were trying to get out of Frank. Maybe in Cardiff, who knows. December the 3rd, anyway, is the date for that. And no doubt you boys will be talking that when you talk boxing next on your little spot that you do now here in talkSPORT with the Genius title, Talk Boxing. And we look forward to the next instalment of that. When is it, Spencer? When can I catch it? If I didn't have anything else to do.
Your next instalment, unfortunately, that you won't be on, Jim, is next Wednesday.
You're invited into it.
Right. Next Wednesday, Talk Boxing on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel.
Yeah.
It will be out Wednesday morning. Myself and Simon Jordan will go through the bones of what's been going on this week with Clarissa Shields, etc., etc., etc. And I'm sure we'll be talking more about Conor Benn and Chris Eubank.
Lovely.
Jr.
And I'm here that old couple in Rochdale, your viewers of Talk Boxing, are looking forward to seeing it.
Don't forget the old couple that Jim has a menage a trois with quite regularly.
Both of them have just got in touch saying we're out that time. Anyway, that was great. Frank Warren, thanks for your time. It's 12:30.